Hey guys, good afternoon. We'll be getting started shortly. I believe I successfully put the giveaway up. Yeah, looks like that is running. So feel free to go ahead and enter that while we wait. Alright, and it looks like it's 1 o'clock, so welcome guys. Black 6 from BZPower here. And today we've got these 4 sets, all based on the hit Star Wars live action TV show, The Mandalorian. Season 2 starts in less than a week. I am super excited. You know, I'm doing this because I'm so excited for this show. This has nothing to do with Lego or Star Wars wanting us to focus on it. This is purely me. Lego did provide some of these sets. They provided the Razor Crest here, and then the Mandalorian and the Child. The other two, the ATST Raider and the Mandalorian Battle Pack were mine. So many thanks to Lego for providing the sets they did. Always appreciate that, and hopefully it'll be a good build today. Hey there, Aaron. Yeah, long time no see. Yeah, you've missed out on some of the decoration changes we've done, like the mug of brick separators. I think that looks cooler than the pick-a-brick cup we used to have. Alright, so as we announced yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we're going to be building sets today and tomorrow. I figured I didn't want to rush or feel rushed. There are, you know what, like over almost 2,000 parts here. So we'll probably do like 3 to 4 hours today, and then a little bit more tomorrow to wrap things up. As you can see in the top right there, we are going to start with the ATST Raider. So let's push these guys off to the back. Let's get rid of our giveaway link for now. We will bring that up when the time is needed. We've got plenty of sets to give away. We are going to be using the same giveaway list between today and tomorrow, so you only have to enter once and you'll be good to go all weekend long on our giveaways we do today and tomorrow. So if you don't win today, and even if you can't make the stream tomorrow, you might still be a winner. So anyway, first set for today, 75254, the ATST Raider, 540 pieces, retails for $50. You know, not bad price per part ratio off the bat there. I mean, that's not always the biggest factor, but it is certainly a factor. You can see we do have some minifigs here. It comes with 4 figs. Got the titular Mandalorian, Cara Dune, Clattonian Raider, a couple of those guys. They do look like they have slightly different prints, so they are unique minifigs. And I believe all 3 of these guys are unique. I'm not sure how the Mandalorian compares to the one in the Razor Crest. Looks like he might be the same. We'll have to find out when we get to that part. Anyway, looking at the box as a whole, looks like an ATST with maybe a little worse for the wear. It's got some red and some brown on it. Looking on the back, can see the legs move. It's got your spring-loaded launchers, the head moves with a little knob, and of course the top opens up. Yeah, so let's open her up and start building. So this was from, I don't know, it's been so long since I've watched the first season. I should rewatch it this coming week to get ready for season 2, but I want to say episode 3 of the first season. And it's kind of an interesting choice of a set, I think, because in the episode you actually like don't really see the ATST all that much. It's like always at night and it's shadowy and you just see these glowing red eyes, which you know, based on the artwork here, there are no glowing red eyes, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. We'll see how the build goes. You can see we've got 4 bags here. Got another brick separator in there, so should be pretty straightforward. We've got some stickers, lots of kind of battle damage or like custom painting with all these stripes, brown and white, gray and white, red and white. Some decals for the feet, some gears, things like that. Quite a few stickers for the size of the set for sure. And you know, depending on your feelings on stickers, that may be a good thing or a bad thing. Alright, so yes, we do have a brick separator here, which can go in our mug of brick separators. Got a pretty good balance, I think, between the teal and the orange, with that one rare green one as well. Should see if I could dig up my like old original style brick separators and include those in there too. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it over my mic, but my neighbor has decided now is the best time to mow the lawn outside my window, which is really frustrating. And he's an outdoorsy guy and he likes having big loud motors, so that's always fun to live next to. Otherwise, he's a great guy though. Alright, so we're starting out with Jin Jiren, the Mandalorian himself. So we've got the Mando, and then he's got his gun. He's got a nice cape piece. This is, I don't think I have seen this particular shape of cape in the past. So it might be a unique one for him here. But before we put that on, we'll look at the torso and legs. So he's got some nice printing on there. This is earlier in the show before he gets a lot of the Beskar armor. So a little worse for the wear here and there. Cape piece goes on. He has an unprinted black minifig head, which I suppose, you know, tracks since you don't actually see his face in the show. So hard to complain too much about that. And then we've got one of his blasters. I suppose this is a decent job of referencing the one he uses in the show, which is based on the animated sequence in the Star Wars Holiday Special, but you know, using that Exo-Force hand in the end definitely gives it the right shaping. I feel like that was more of a rifle, like, so it should have a longer stock at the end or something, but you know, I think it does an okay job here. I also like getting the dark brown lightsaber handle. I don't think it's a new color for that part, but definitely not one of the more common colors. Yeah, we should probably, I'm gonna try something new out with our webcam look. I'm gonna try to go for like a more top-down view, so it's more of like a different angle of what we're building. So let's see how that works. You guys let me know what you think of that, and if we should change it up, we can always do that as we build. Let me get a little closer there, so you guys can kind of see from like a better angle what it is I'm actually building. Always open to feedback on this. So how's everyone been? We this is 2 weeks in a row we've been doing some live builds, so that's good. But anything big going on? What have we had going on in LEGO news? We had the Sesame Street set got revealed from LEGO Ideas. Excuse me. I'm excited for that set. Big Jim Henson fan. Loved Sesame Street growing up, so I'm pretty excited for it. Got our first stickers going on. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually watched Sesame Street, but I definitely have a lot of nostalgia for that. And kind of curious to see if that leads into other Muppet related LEGO forays. It's an interesting licensing situation, right? Jim Henson created the characters in Sesame Street, but he pretty much gave the rights in perpetuity to, what is it, Children's Workshop, I believe is the production company. So there's our first 2 stickers on the back there. So while it's it's Jim Henson, he did the Muppets, just because they have the rights to Sesame Street isn't the same as the Muppets. So of course the Muppets these days are owned by Disney, who they work with extensively. But I'm just thinking maybe if the Sesame Street set sells well, then maybe that could be an indicator that a Muppets sets could sell well. Of course, that would kind of require there to be good Muppets content for them to base things off of, and Muppets Now was not that, unfortunately. I was not very happy with how that turned out. I think the last 2 live action movies they did weren't that bad. Not quite as good as the originals, but they did a pretty good job. But I mean, hey, they're doing Sesame Street, which is kind of a nostalgic set. They could do a Muppet movie set or something based on the original movie. Maybe that could do well. What else in LEGO news? I don't think there's been a whole lot of other big announcements LEGO-wise this week. I guess there was there's that CBR article that got posted. Have that in the queue to go up on the front page at some point. Looking forward to seeing what people's reactions are to that. I know a lot of people have already shared it online. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, someone at CBR, kind of pop culture website, did a review of Bionicle 2, The Web of Shadows, and a kind of retrospective review, and he did not put it in a very good light. I know a lot of Bionicle fans are not too pleased with it. Yeah, I mean, I think the guy's welcomed his opinion. I do think maybe there's a few points where he kind of claims to be speaking for all Bionicle fans, and that might be a bit of a bridge too far, as far as what a reviewer should be doing. But at the end of the day, hey, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I think where any publicity is good publicity, and getting Bionicle out there, on a fairly high profile site isn't a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we all would have preferred it to be portrayed in a better light, but can't win them all. Alright, not sure what this is that we are building right now. Maybe one of the side panels. But whatever it is about to get a couple of stickers on it. And it does seem like it is going to be something that we're going to put like one on one side and one on the other. But because the sides of the ATST aren't perfectly symmetric, I'm I guess a little hesitant to try to do two at once. Oh, actually I don't have the parts to do a second one, so I guess that answers that question. Okay, so it looks like this is just going to be like a little greeble panel that's going to go on the back here. Using the wonderful paint roller parts as some little greebles for some like wiring and stuff. Lego has definitely loved going in that direction ever since that part came out, and I think one of the collectible minifigs. Alright, so we put an axle in the back here that when we turn, this gray axle here spins, so that'll be the head spinning mechanism. Oh, we've got a couple more stickers to put on. I realized I didn't show off the last ones, which works out because these ones we're putting on are the same as the last pair on some 1x2 brown cheese slopes. So we'll show these off. Just some like little details on the sides on these cheese slopes, and there's an identical pair on the other side. If you're the kind of person who isn't a fan of stickers, those are definitely some of the ones that you could probably leave off if you really wanted to. But I'm always like Emmett here and following the instructions on the sets we build on stream, just so you can get the full, like the full sense of the set as it was designed. But hey, to each their own. If you don't like stickers, you're perfectly welcome to not put them on. Some more stickers going on. This thing certainly got a lot of them. One thing we're going to do when we finish up the ATST Raider here is go ahead and compare it to one of the previous ATST sets, the one from Rogue One. So I'm kind of curious to see, like from the box, it looks like there are definitely a lot of similarities. And this 4x4 round brick is supposed to snap onto this turntable, which normally they do with no problem. So yeah, now when you turn this, so this brick is on a click hinge, but it's not connected to this axle. I assume we're going to be attaching it somehow, so when you turn this, it's going to turn this whole brick. But we'll have to see how that goes. Oh, that's it for bag one. All right. So I think the plan for today is after we finish this guy, we're going to do one of the two little sets, either the Battle Pack or the Mandalorian and the Child brickheads. And then we'll start the Razor Crest, but not finish it. And then tomorrow we'll do the other little set, whichever one we don't do today, and finish the Razor Crest. Alright, so kicking things off on bag two, got another minifig to assemble. Cara Dune, former Rebel shock trooper, now I guess mercenary. So there is her fig. She's got some nice printing on her chest with the armor, some good print on the legs. She's got an angry face, some nice printing there, and she's got a hairpiece, which I think fits the portrayal pretty well. And then give her a blaster rifle with a lightsaber bit on the end. There so you guys can see on the picture-in-picture cam. All right, now to start. I guess we're actually putting this off to the side and starting to work on the head. So what else has been going on? Pop culture and such. I'm trying to think. It's not a whole lot since last weekend. It's been kind of continuations of things I was talking about then, at least for me. Still watching the new season of Star Trek Discovery, the new series The Right Stuff, final season of Supernatural. Oh, I guess it had come out last week by the time we streamed, but I hadn't started watching it yet. Hellstrom came out, I guess the last Marvel television TV show. All the future ones like WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, those are all being made by Marvel Studios, the same production company that does the movies. So Hellstrom was the last one by Marvel Television, who did like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Luke Cage, Daredevil, all those fun shows. It's been pretty interesting so far. I think I'm maybe like 4 out of 10 episodes in. Definitely not a lot of references or crossover to any of the other shows that I've seen, other than the fact that Roxxon Corporation is featured in there a little bit, just kind of like as an aside, but for the most part it seems like it stands on its own. And it's kind of like an interesting little horror show. right now we're making the, I guess, launcher mechanisms for the spring-loaded missiles. I always like when they do incorporate them fairly well. So you can see we've got our two 1x4 spring-loaded launcher bricks here, and I made these little mechanisms here so that once you load them up, you'll be able to push on these cones, and then it'll push forward and launch the missiles out. So we'll see how well it all gets hidden in the end, but I think we're kind of early enough in the build that it looks like it'll all go away pretty nicely. You won't even know they're there. Alright, looks like we've got part of the cockpit going in here. You can see you've got like one of those little panel pieces, the little wall in the middle that minifig legs can fit on. So it gives them usually enough friction so they stay in place but aren't too hard to put in and take out. So what's everyone in the chat been up to? Anything fun and exciting? Watching any good shows, reading any good books? It's just made a kind of interesting Technic assembly here. These axles and pins sticking out. I'm guessing that's going to be to attach the side panels on, since they do kind of slope in at an angle. It is always interesting to see how the set designers are able to accomplish that. Another sticker time. This time it's going to be, looks like for the control panel for our ATST Raider. So yeah, pretty simple design there. Nothing too fancy. Alright, now we get to join these two assemblies. A lot of studs between them, so gotta make sure you press down good all the way around. Try to avoid knocking off blaster pistols. You can kind of start to see the shape of that ATST head coming together here. Another sticker on a 2x4 tile right on the front. I think that's going to be, yeah, that is going to be front and center of our ATST Raider. I can kind of start seeing the face of the ATST coming together. So it looks like we're just about done bag 2. So after I put the stickers on here, and get the pieces in place, I'm going to put up our giveaway link. And once we finish bag 2, we'll be doing our first giveaway. There we go. So it does look like there was a bit of like a misprinting on this one sticker on the left here. You can see that kind of white mark on it. But otherwise, there's kind of these generic details going on the back of our ATST. And also let me know what set you guys would like to see us build after we finish the ATS Curator, if you'd rather see the Mandalorian Battle Pack or the Mandalorian and the Child Brickheads. So the last thing we've got in bag 2 is going to make little chin blasters. It's kind of a little interesting technique here. As you've got the newer 1x2 plate, the rounded plate with the through holes, putting some Exoforce hands in there. And then we are putting some 1x1 round plates with the holes on there in the other direction. So we're kind of flipping the studs around so like the studs are facing in the middle. We're going to finish that off with some telescopes and Technic half pins. Our little chin blaster. Hey there, Woomy World. Yes, those new 1x2 plates are super useful. Alright, now we get to attach this portion of the head to the body. And that little blaster pistol just does not want to stay. It's only kind of connected into a stud on the jumper plate there. Here we go, and so you can see we've got a little 2x2 brick on the back, and that when we turn that, the head turns. Looks pretty well. And because we're using that 4x4 turntable base and a 4x4 round brick, there's like a good bit of friction, so whatever position you put it in, it's going to stay. But it's easy enough to turn it. But if you want to display, you don't have to worry about it kind of wobbling around on you. Alright, so let me get these extra parts out of here. Open up bag 3, which looks like they are going to focus on the legs. And then we'll pick our first winner. Out of our way. Okay. Turn off giveaway link. Something's going wrong with our giveaway system. Oh, there we go. DeJoxon, congratulations, you've won a Darth Maul buildable figure. So you know the drill. You need to get an email from us, and we'll get you your prize. Alright, so it looks like now we can put this part of our head assembly out of the way. And start working on the legs. The legs look like they are more or less identically constructed, but of course the colors and stickers are very different. So that means, of course, I'm going to try to build both at once. And hope I don't mess up too much. You just kind of have to, be aware. Like, is this part here in 2 colors or just 1? And then, of course, I have to not forget to mirror the 2 legs. Otherwise, I'll end up with 2 left feet. It looks like it's going to be more or less just the brown and the red that are swapped. Maybe not, because I already have an instance where, so we're swapping brown with dark gray. Interesting. So I remember reading a review for this set that was not very kind to it. They did not like this set at all, at least from my recollection. I think most of that was related to the set's role in the show, and how this wasn't like necessarily the best way to capture the scene, because really like the ATST was kind of like a monster in the show that you don't really see at all. And there are a lot of other characters in this episode that there are, especially one in particular, who almost becomes like a love interest for the Mandalorian. That would have been a great minifigure in this set, but who they did not include here. And now, because at least as far as we know, she only appeared in that one episode, we're probably never going to see her in minifig form. But I guess when you like start to think about it, the show definitely focuses a lot on the characters and not so much like these big action set pieces. There's not like a lot of different spaceships and stuff, or at least not ones that would be reasonable for turning into Lego sets. Like obviously there's like some larger spaceships, like in the Prison Break episode, but that would be something more like them creating a play set based on the show rather than like a vehicle. And I believe, from what I've heard, is that the vehicles tend to sell better than the play sets because they make better display pieces. Kids can play with them better. Like even though it's a play set, like kids I think in general prefer to have a vehicle, because that's something that can like swoosh around or march around the ground, you know, drive around, stuff like that. And so yeah, you kind of lose that completely. With a playset. But yeah, I think like the Prison Break episode would have been a good one to do a playset of, I guess. Obviously from more the end of this season would have had some good things that they could have done with some sets and some vehicles and stuff in. But I assume either like Disney wasn't ready to tip their hand on that, or didn't want things to like leak out and have spoilers of the first season. So that's why we didn't get anything like that from the end. Like there's a certain TIE fighter that appears that I think would have made a fantastic set with a fantastic minifig, but definitely seems like he's going to be around in season 2, so hopefully there's still hope to get a Moff Gideon minifig and a Moff Gideon's TIE fighter. I know I would definitely be interested in that. I definitely think there's some other parts from near the end of the show that would have been great sets that have had some vehicles and stuff in them. Alright, so here is one of our foot slopes, I guess. It's got 3 stickers on it to add a bunch of details. And now we have to finish doing the same on the other foot. Getting those side stickers on was a little bit of a pain to get those lined up nicely. But some of the rumors of some of the other characters who are going to be appearing in season 2. Definitely excited for some possibilities as far as minifigs and stuff we might be able to get from that. So definitely some good options there. Looking forward to. I think with the show being as popular as it is, we'll definitely see some more sets, but you know, I think there's kind of several reasons why we didn't get a lot of sets so far. I mean, I think these 4 are more or less the only sets we got, and then there's also, you know, the Baby Yoda sculpture, or the child, as it is officially referred to, which I don't think is actually out yet. I don't think it comes out until tomorrow maybe, so obviously don't have that yet to build, but I definitely plan on getting it, whether we get Lego to send it to us or if I have to buy it myself. I'll definitely be adding that to my collection because it's, yeah, so adorable. But you know, I think overall they're just really trying to avoid a lot of spoilers. I also weren't sure how well the show would be received, considering, you know, some of the backlash that some of the recent movies have got. Pull that back a little bit so you can see the entire legs in our little picture here. But I think now that they know how much fans are into it, we'll probably be seeing more. more Star Wars, you can count me in. Something here doesn't look like it's lining up quite right. Supposed to be more like that. Okay, I guess that's how it goes. See our legs coming together. Pretty interesting design. I like adding the little ball joint attachment, the jig. So it doesn't, not adding anything functionally, but it's a cool detail to make it look like it's mechanical and it could be walking around. Separator to the rescue. So we're adding on some of these big click hinges here to give the legs some sort of posability. It looks like we might be hitting an area where the construction of the two legs is going to differ a bit, because I do not have enough pieces to do both sides, so I think we're going to have to stop working on our red leg and just focus on the gray and brown one. for some more stickers. Going on the front of the leg here. Adding some stripes there. Really scare those villagers into submission, I guess. These are really fun little technique here with these flick fire missiles. We're inserting them into these Technic holes, but on the other side we actually have a Technic pin already there. So the bar part of the flick fire actually goes into the Technic pin and really locks us together in a very strong connection here. You can see it does take like quite a bit of force to get that in there. And it also gives you a stud, so you can put on some details here. These legs, very floppy. Putting a sticker on a 1x8 tile. Never very fun. There you go. Alright, now I get to attach our leg to our body. Guess it goes like so. And at least at first it's a bit dangly. I assume we're about to lock that in with probably another flick fire here. Yep. So the flick fire goes in here, and then it's going to go into this Technic pin. Cover up that stud, a little round tile. And so we do have some posability here, and this Technic beam keeps it from going too far forward. It can just go back. So it keeps it, I guess, from going too far forward that it just falls on its face. Now we gotta do the other side. Can we lean this against the box and have it stand? There we go. We'll see how long that stays. Alright, let's see how I did with my guesses as far as the parts go. Looking pretty good so far. Oh, alright, so here's where we start to diverge. So we need to add a clip here. That's because this side is going to use a bunch of these whip pieces as like hoses and tubing. Alright, so here's where we really start to diverge. Here's where I ran out of the right parts to do things completely mirrored. Namely a Technic pin. Still using the same flick fire missile technique though. Lock these assemblies together. Now we're putting on some more clips. Hey there, Bellum. Welcome, welcome. Some more stickers on the legs. Kind of mirror the ones on the other side with a red 2x2, or sorry, red 2x4 tile and a brown 2x2 tile. Some more of that striping. And now some more clips. Oh. Alright. Too top heavy. Now so I'm gonna make use of some of those clips and get some whip pieces here as tubing. Kind of give it this, I guess, kind of run down design. That, you know, they've been like kind of repairing it as they go, making do the best they can. But it's not in peak condition anymore. These stickers on a 1x8 tile are not being fun today. There we go, looks pretty decent. It's kind of interesting how this tile here goes over the whip piece. So like the tubing kind of goes through the leg. Gives it even that more, a little bit more of a broken down feel. Alright, now we get to attach this to the body. Curious to see if the just the right leg alone is enough to keep it standing. Just the friction on that, even though we have not fully attached the left leg, which we have now done. All right, so that wraps things up for bag 3. We get an extra whip piece. So there we go, starting to look like an ATST here. Definitely lacking in the movement. The legs only go backwards, and there's no like articulation here, which I think is pretty normal. We do have the head that spins, and the turrets here, blasters there, wherever. So it's definitely coming together. And since we're moving on to our final bag, it's going to be close to your last opportunity to let me know what you'd like to see us build next. If you'd rather see us build the Mandalorian Battle Pack or the Mandalorian and Child Brickheads. So let me know in the chat what you want to see next. Alright, so looks like we are starting off with our last 2 minifigures. The Clantowinian Raiders. I'm trying to think how much of them you even see in this episode. Pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the scene in the woods where you see some of them for sure. That's right. Alright, so it looks like their legs are identical. Their torsos, however, are not. So we'll show them off one at a time here. Let's see about the heads. Those look like they're probably going to be the same. Yeah. Alright, so you've got Clattonian Raider #1 here. He's got some olive green legs with some nice printing. A unique chest print. Pop off his head or his helmet so you can see his face there. Only one-sided printing. And he uses, I think it's from Ninjago, this shoulder pauldron. And then these nozzle pieces as blasters, and the helmet, which I believe dates back to the original Adventurers set. I think that was where it first showed up. So there is Raider #1, now for Raider number 2. So there is Raider number 2. I'm not sure where this piece on his neck comes from. I almost want to say it's like the lower half of Darth Vader's helmet or something like that, but I don't know for sure. The head and legs are the same. Torso is slightly different. It's got a different printing, and he's got gray arms and brown hands instead of brown arms and gray hands. So it's different enough. And he does come with a nice gunmetal blaster rifle as well, so it's a nice little attachment or accessory there. So we've got our 4 minifigs, 2 good guys, 2 bad guys, pretty good spread. It looks like we're starting by building one of the side panels here. And I imagine these look like they're going to be, I mean, I'm sure like a lot of the base construction is going to be the same, but there's also, I'm guessing, going to be a good bit of difference between the two as far as like the weapons and attachments on them, so we're going to make sure to do this one at a time. I guess I can lower our camera back down a little bit since we don't have these big legs we're working on anymore. Alright, so we've only got, looks like 4 stickers left. One of which is going on now. Kind of interesting that it is a little bit of an angled sticker. It's got like a corner chopped off. You can see that right there. And we're making extensive use of these 1x8 plates with like the track on them. And then there's a specific brick, I think they come in like 1x2 and 1x4 varieties that track can slide into. But it also becomes very handy in this case of when we're going to be attaching this and it's going to kind of go at an angle. So having that little extra lip, which as you can see is like half a stud wide, kind of helps cover up some gaps that might otherwise appear. So yeah, while it was originally designed as like a functional piece, yeah, these days I think you see it used a lot as more of an aesthetic piece to help make things look pretty at the end. Using some Nexonite shields and some nice details as well. So here we're adding one of these 1x2 plates with like the Technic pinhole, and I believe that's going to end up going on these green 1x2 plates with the bar, like that. And so that kind of gives it some sturdiness, but also allows it to flex down at this angle here. We'll keep it in place, but also allow it to be at that proper angle that we want it to get that iconic ATST head shape. Just added on this little Technic construction here, which is going to attach to the pins on the side here, well, on that side there, for this particular piece. Well, looks like we are close to being ready to actually attach it. This is cool. We're actually using this piece, which is usually used in some pretty advanced Technic sets as like a universal joint. And here we're using it as like the grenade launcher blaster. Another little cool technique we've got is we have this 2x2 round jumper tile. It's got like the stud on it with the through hole, and there's actually a 2x4 Technic plate underneath that has the holes in it. So when we attach this guy onto here, the bar attaches to that stud and it makes a pretty good connection. But now when we push this down, it goes all the way through that jumper plate and then into the Technic plate. So now it results in a pretty sturdy connection. It's going to take a good bit to knock that off, which I think is definitely a problem you see on some of these kind of walker sets in the past, where they tend to have like these little blaster parts fall off fairly easily. All right, now we get to attach this little blaster here. So can attach this Technic pin, and then just kind of slide that over that green bar, and so then just kind of rests at an angle there. And I mean, yeah, it wobbles around a bit, but once we fill in the rest of it, I'm sure it will be pretty sturdy there. Maybe not the most sturdy, but considering the shape we're going for, I think it does a pretty good job. And from the side there, it looks almost like it's a finished ATST, just got a big hole in the top. All right, now we can do the same thing all over again, but for the other side. And it will, of course, have its own, like, slightly different little details. Gotta keep things a little interesting, right? So now that I know it's coming, I can show off the technique a little bit beforehand. But you can see we're using this, I guess, the 2x4 Technic plate that's got these holes in between the studs. So eventually a bar is going to go in there. And while it doesn't have any friction, it just allows it to go in there a little more to add some structural stability. On the other side, it's just a little bit different. Actually, otherwise, the construction between the two sides is the same, so it's almost like a little disappointing there. So normally, and we actually used this technique earlier, like this bar on this flick-fire missile piece would be able to go into the center of the pinhole here. Hey there, Box Commander. But for some reason, that is does not want to do that on this piece. I don't know if it's a bit of a change in the mold. Actually, they do look like they're a little different. So put on the main camera so maybe you can see. In the instructions, the slits on this piece are going up and down, and here they're going side to side. So I'm wondering if it's maybe a slight variation of that piece where that technique no longer works. So maybe if you bought like the first run of these sets, you could do that. But now in these later runs, you cannot. So I'm gonna follow the instructions a little bit. And then I might take a break in a sec to see if I have an older version of that part that we can swap in there. Thought I had the sticker on my knife and it disappeared. Where's this supposed to go? That. Alright, so it's pretty much the last step there. So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna go on mute and see if I can dig up an older variant of that part. So I'll be right back, guys. Alright, so all that sorting I did in my Lego collection earlier this year during quarantine turned out to be helpful. So you can actually compare the two versions of this part. So you can see on the left here, it's got the slits on the top. On the right, the slits are on the side. And the practical application, well, you can also definitely see from head on that on the right, those holes in the Technic pins are much smaller. So on the older variant, this flick-fire missile or any 318 bar can fit in there. On the new one, that does not go in. So be warned, should you decide to pick up the set, that you might need to kind of substitute some of your own parts in there, depending on the production run. I assume earlier production runs, they worked just fine, and later ones, after they made that change, where they saw the problem. And one thing I noticed in assembling this is that unlike the one on the right side where we push like that bar all the way through, this one we're only going in a little bit. So it's, even though we have that Technic plate underneath here, it's only going into this jumper plate. So this one, this side might be a bit weaker than the other side. All right, that is it for this. So now we can connect the Technic pin, put it on there, and we're looking like an ATST. All right, now we just got to do the top of the cockpit. And once we're done, we do another giveaway. And since we're getting close again, I'm willing to build whichever set you guys want to see next, the Mandalorian Battle Pack or the Brickhead set. You just let me know in the chat which one you'd rather see. Otherwise, it'll be up to me. You know, you would think that Box Commander, that they would be able to keep that in mind. Because you would think that when they redesign that part, right, they definitely have to go through like the trade-offs. Like, hey, we're changing this part. What are going to be the impacts of it? But I suppose there's a lot of sets, right? If you look at how many sets LEGO releases each year, I guess it's, you know, can't be easy to keep track of every time a set is used or a part is used with a certain technique. But I guess I don't know. On the flip side, you know, I feel like in theory, in my engineering brain, I would say they've got to have a database, right? It's like, all right, this part, right? Like, you know, this part right here is in the current production line, and so we got to be able to look in the database and see what sets currently use this part. And so, all right, so we've identified all the sets that use this part. Now let's see how they use that part, because we know by changing this piece, it might change the way some of them, you know, it works in some cases. You would think. That makes sense to me, but either there's a trade-off where they say, hey, this might impact this one set, so we'll have to, you know, expect some more customer service calls or something, or maybe they just kind of falls through the cracks. They have computers and access to Excel. Yeah, exactly. All right, so here is the hatch going in. Attaches with some clips and bars. Covers up pretty well. There's some little gaps here. Although, yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be closing those up, sadly. Although I assume they probably use some real databases and not Excel. If their part usage is tracked by Excel, then I think LEGO's got some more serious problems going on in the background. Alright, time to attach the top here. Let's see if we can. Whoop. And so we've got these two little Technic beams here, and some Technic beam bushing combos. So hopefully snaps in there. That's not in all the way. Oh. There we go, there's one side. And there is the other. Oh, and so yeah, there is one of the turrets falling off, like I was kind of hoping wasn't going to happen. And so because we're using these two module Technic beams, it does kind of have a little bit of a compound hinge. So you can kind of slide it in at just the right angle to finish that off there. Oh, and before I was supposed to close it, apparently we're supposed to put up tile there to help. Alright. So I think other than, oh, did I skip this step where we're supposed to put the flaps on? Oops. Some of those look a little empty here. Alright, so I think we're done. So let's see what we got here. Can put on our giveaway link. Gonna turn off the picture-in-picture so we can look at the final set, and then we're gonna compare it to the Rogue One version, and then pick our next giveaway winner. Alright, let's see, anything else? The instructions here, yeah, you can shoot a bunch of the other sets and minifigs that are available. Cool. an ad for the Skywalker saga coming in 2020. I'm pretty sure that's been officially delayed till next year. Thanks, COVID. All right. So let's look at our ATST Raider here. So yeah, it definitely captures the look of an ATST. As we were talking about earlier, in the show, you really don't get a good clear look at it to even see if it has like all this brown and red. Kind of get the idea that it has seen some better days, but the main like iconic thing about it in the show is that the eyes like glow red, and there's nothing to suggest that in here. Although if you do open up the top, I'm not sure how well it will show, there are some trans red 1x1 plates in there, but there's like no way that you can see those from the outside once the canopy is closed here. So it's a bit of a letdown in that regard. And then we do have this little 2x2 brick on the back that when you twist it, the head spins from side to side. That works pretty well. And because it's using that 4x4 turntable, when you turn it in a specific position, it will stay there. It's got a good amount of friction, so it's not going to roll back and forth wildly. It will stay where you put it. As far as the legs and articulation goes, the only joint is right here. All the rest are just for show or fixed, and it can't go any further forward than this, probably because otherwise it would be front heavy and tilt over, but it can go backwards, although it can go backwards to the point where it gets back heavy. So yeah, I'd say you've got two positions, and I guess you can probably put one leg in one position and one in the other. You can't even really get it to stand. There you go. You can kind of get it to stand like that, but it looks wobbly and like, just a couple of taps and that's going. So not overly posable. I like how they got the shaping on the head. I think they did a good job. Got some nice details here. This gun on this side is pretty sturdy. That is not falling off. You can see like I'm trying to pull it off, and like the whole side panel is more likely to come off. On the left side, however, that one is just going to come off pretty easily, so you do have to be careful with that. What else we got? So the top does open up, and there's also a hatch. There is room for one minifig in there. Unfortunately, this seems like a bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, there's not like a lot of space in here, but there's like no clips or anything for any of their weapons. There is a blaster pistol on a jumper plate there, so it kind of holds that. But each of the two bad guys here comes with a weapon, and there's like nowhere to easily attach that. I don't know, maybe you could like put it into like a Technic pin hole there. No. And the other thing is that if you look at it from the top, I don't know how well you'll be able to see. Maybe you can see, like, you can see my finger through there. So there are gaps in the side. So if you're like, sometimes I'll do this in sets, is just like toss the weapon in there. But if you do that, you can see it coming out the side here. So it got caught on something, but it's not a good way to store the weapons. And the other thing I'm noticing as I'm showing that off is that you can see the spring-loaded launchers here. I wish that this part right here had been covered up somehow, so you couldn't see it, so it looked like more streamlined. But we can also show off that mechanism here. You've got these two cones on the back, and when you push them, it launches the spring-loaded launchers, and you do get one extra missile for a total of 3. I guess one other thing to notice is that with the hatch that opens up here, Let's swap out these minifigs real quick, because this guy can at least hold his weapons while in the driver's seat. There are these 1x2 plates with bars, and plus the bars up here. So like if you really wanted to, you might be able to have, yeah, so you can hold on to that bar and be popping out the top hatch. So that's kind of one way to do it. You don't have to worry about the minifig weapon storage there. Some other things about the set, I do like using the whips as like the tubing here, kind of give it some battle damage. I like use the paint rollers in the back for some more details. And then of course you do get two other minifigs in addition to the Clattonian Raiders. You get the Mandalorian himself and Cara Dune. So Cara for right now is exclusive to this set. And I believe the Mandalorian's the same as the one you get in the Razor Crest that you can see in the back there, but this is obviously the cheaper way to get him. So yeah, I think from a set perspective, it's an okay set. If you missed any of the previous ATSTs, not a bad pickup, but I think the main reason to get this would be if you're a minifigure collector and you want to get Cara. And so one last thing we're going to do before we pick our next winner is I do have the ATST from Rogue One here. And as soon as you put these here, you can see that they adjust the legs back a little bit so they can kind of tilt up with the camera. There we go. The builds look very similar. They're not identical by any means, but they are super similar. The core leg design, definitely the same. Like the feet are identical except for some little details on the tops here. The core leg design as far as the click hinges and the Technic and like these little guys are the same, although the Rogue One version actually has 2 click hinges per leg, whereas the new one only has 1 click hinge per leg, so this guy's legs are a little beefier. They've got the same mechanism to spin the heads. You can see on the back that like these builds on the back of the heads are pretty much identical with the Technic components and the slopes, the spring-loaded launchers. If you look at it from the side view, you can see that like the core side panels are identical, just with some different details. Like this one's a little cleaner with a 4x4 angle plate versus the Nexonite shields, and then the weapons are, although they use the same piece, this universal joint piece, but like the design's a little different because this has got like this larger piece. The tops, they are pretty much identical, even down to the 1x2 cheese grater slopes and the bar pieces there. Let's see, the hatch, even identical, and it also has those bar pieces that a minifig can hold on to. If we open them up, you can see that those insides are pretty identical. The Rogue One version has a slightly different control panel in here, but otherwise it's more or less the same. You can see there are a little bit of differences on the front, just as far as some of the piece usage and the design for the nose turret. This one uses telescopes and Technic pins, whereas this one just uses lightsaber handles, but it's got the same design for the spring-loaded launchers. Just a lot of similarities, which I guess you could say makes sense, right? They're both ATSTs. They're both built by the Empire. This one was like just at the height of the Galactic Empire, and this was like what, 7 years after Endor or so. So it's, you know, have seen some modifications and stuff to keep it running after the Imperial infrastructure has disappeared, after the Empire has fallen. But you know, at the end of the day, it does make it seem like it's a little less value, because they essentially reused the same design. And you can always make the point, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then, you know, how far do you extend that theory, right? Like, you know, should they have never changed the design of the X-Wing since 1999? You know, this set came out, when did Rogue One come out? 2014, I want to say. And this one came out earlier this year or last year, so 5 to 6 years later, and they couldn't find any areas to make improvements in it in those 6 years. And it's been okay. So yeah, they have the same. They both have the same weakness of the left side turret being able to fall off, whereas the right side one is sturdy. So they couldn't even improve that in the 5 or 6 years since, you know, the set, this, you know, the older version of the set came out, which is a bit disappointing to me. So yeah, if you missed out on this version of the ATST and you want an ATST in your collection, then I guess this is a good choice. But otherwise, you know, it's really only here for the minifigs. 3 out of the 4 are exclusive to this set, and the 4th one is currently only available in that Razor Crest back there, which is like, what, like $130 set or so. So hard to give it a solid recommendation here. I mean, it was a fun build. You know, no complaints in the build process. It just feels like a little lazy. And then, you know, there were definitely some issues in the final product in both versions. You know, being able to see the spring-loaded missiles out of the side, how flimsy that is, lack of place to fit both minifigs in the cockpit, you know, so just some little things like that. Lack of red eyes, which is, you know, a key thing from the show that is a bit disappointing. So yeah, I guess that's the ATST. Let's see. Box Commander, going back to, yeah, I think you left the comment a little bit ago about the eyes and the light piping. You know, maybe they did try to get the eyes to glow at some point and then weren't able to, and so they just left those trans red 1x1s in there anyway. But yeah, so that is the ATST Raider. We'll take this guy and put him back off to the side and put you guys back here. We do have another winner to pick. And actually, bear with me a sec here. Alright, so let's pick our next winner. And since no one has chimed in as far as what set they'd like to see next, that means I get to pick. So let's get that ready. And Dollar, congratulations, you won an Elite TIE Fighter Pilot buildable figure. So we'll be getting in touch with you to get you your prize. Just gotta tweak something real quick here. Looks good. All right. So since no one gave their feedback. Next up, we're going to be building this little guy, 75267, the Mandalorian Battle Pack from The Mandalorian. There's a couple scenes where we see some Mandalorian fighters. One episode in particular, which is freaking awesome. The kind of thing we'd only seen previously in the animated shows, the Clone Wars and Rebels. We've got to see it live action with a whole bunch of different Mandalorians. So here we get to get some of those figures. I'm not sure how accurate any of these are to their on-screen interpretations, but it was just awesome to get four Mandalorians. And there is the back. You can see, I believe we've seen this speeder design before elsewhere, and then who the heck knows what that's supposed to be. But anyway, hey, we're gonna open this up. So obviously a little set like this, no numbered bags. Just 2 bags and then a little accessory baggie. So yeah, we're gonna probably tear through this pretty quick. Build our little battle pack, and then we're going to start on the Razor Crest. We'll not be finishing the Razor Crest today. We'll finish that tomorrow and build our brickhead set that you can see off to the side there as well. So we do have a bunch of capes in here, because of course all good Mandalorians have to have capes. Pretty sure that's not true. Not all Mandalorians have capes, but whatever. Looks like we've got, they all look like they are the same fabric cut as the one our main character has. We've got a couple in dark brown, one in black, and one in olive green. Whereas Jin Jiren's one is dark gray. So new colors for all of those all around. And let's get our picture back on in a sec here. Alright, so we start out by building 4 minifigures. So let's find those minifig parts. And for better or worse, instead of normal blasters, they all have these stud shooter blasters. I do think that's a bit of a bummer, but hey. Lego, I guess, is supposed to be a kid's toy or something like that. That's what they tell me. So you gotta make some concessions for the kids. All of these Mandalorians just have solid black minifig heads, no printing on them. It's kind of funny that in the TV show, you know, they kind of make, I guess, a little bit of a big deal about the Mandalorians not being able to reveal their faces, and it's definitely like a mystery that they've added to the show. Because, you know, if you watched the Clone Wars or Rebels, it's like those Mandalorians take their helmets off all the time. So what has happened between the Battle of Yavin and now that has caused the Mandalorian culture to change so much as far as this goes? And then even then, right, like, you know, some of the kind of origins of Jin Jiren that we've seen date back to like the Clone Wars, right? Because he gets saved by some Mandalorians when his village is being attacked by battle droids, which implies the Clone Wars. And so it kind of implies that maybe this like not showing your face thing has been around for a while, but maybe just not like it's a sect of Mandalorians. Alright, stop talking, figure out which legs go with which torsos. There we go. And then which capes go with which. The helmets. All right. So looking at them real quick, and we'll show them off on the main camera. The torsos are very similar, but not identical. Actually, 3 of them look like they have almost the exact same design and just different colors, and one of them is a unique design. As far as the legs go, 2 of the sets of legs look like they have the same design, different colors. One set of legs has no printing at all, and the last one has some unique printing. And then I think there's I think all the helmet molds are the same, but there's a couple unique different styles of printing. Our little rangefinder scopes here. Alright, so let's look at these one at a time. So here is our first Mandalorian body. This is the one that has a unique torso design, although his legs, or their legs, match one of the other ones, and got a little bit of back printing. Alright, now put on cape. Head. Helmet. Rangefinder. And a blaster. Alright, so there he is with their helmet. Light gray with some orange details. I do like kind of the more angled shape. So there's like a little indentation on the top of the visor. Kind of a cool design. Reminds me, I guess, a little bit of Sabine's visor. Don't have a Sabine minifig handy to compare that to. Next up, alright, our next one. So he's got, or they've got the same leg design as that first one, but obviously different colors, different chest printing than the first one, but the same as all the others, and some back printing there. And he gets a dark brown cape. I think that dark brown fabric is a little softer than the other ones. That might just be me though. Alright, so there he goes, got a green helmet with some silver and like some teal details on there. Same kind of slanted visor that that first one had, and the rangefinder as well, which the final 2 will not have the rangefinder. Alright, next up, probably the most plain of the 4. No printing on the legs. Same chest design as that second one, obviously different colors. he's got a helmet, different visor shape. You can see it's kind of got a more flat line on the top. I believe the mold is the same. It's not a different helmet mold. It's just the printing on the helmet. Kind of has more of a Boba Fett look to it. And he's got another dark brown cape. Last but not least, so this one has got unique leg printing. Yeah, chest design, same I believe as the second and third one, but new leg printing there. And some back printing. Gets the olive green cape. Similar helmet design to the third one there. It's got this some purple detailing and this big purple splotch on the top. Looks like it got hit by a paintball or something. So yeah, those are our minifigs. Not really the best angle on our picture-in-picture cam to see them. So just put them back to the side. I don't know if I could pick a favorite out of them. They're all pretty nice and got some unique designs and attributes to them. Definitely like you know, if you're big Star Wars mock maker, it's definitely some good fodder for coming up with some custom designs. Oh, that did not go on. Gives you some good parts to mix and match, in addition to any of the existing Mandalorian figures that you might have from previous iterations, Clone Wars or whatever. I guess in Rebels we didn't get too many Mandalorian minifigs other than a couple variations of Sabine. I don't think they ever got into any of the Mandalorian arcs as far as the sets go, which is unfortunate. I definitely feel like for as popular as Rebels was, it really did not get the due it deserved from a Lego set perspective. Like some of the sets we did get were a bit disappointing. Like there was like the one Rebel Cruiser. Pretty sure we built that on a stream a while ago, which had some great figs. I think that was the only way you could get the new Ahsoka minifig. But like, do we really need that big ship in Lego form? There's so many others we could have gotten. I feel like I'm gonna want to like take a break at some point, because I think I have the ship from the old Clone Wars Mandalorian battle pack behind me somewhere in my Lego room. I feel like the speeder is very similar to that. I kind of want to compare them. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. I can go find where that's hiding and dig that up. Alright, so that is our little speeder. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it is very similar to the one from the old Clone Wars Battle Pack. Unfortunately, like there's some studs on the sides that you could probably easily put some clips on, but there's nowhere to put any weapons if any of our Mandalorians wanted to ride on it. I guess they could shoot their blaster or hold their blaster with one hand and the handlebars with the other. Doesn't seem overly safe, but hey, Mandalorian's really not safe. So I do like how the capes do have enough flex so they can kind of trail out behind them as they speed along. It's a nice little swooshable thing. It's solid enough. Alright, now we've got our little piece of scenery, I guess. And that will just about finish this build. Man, the printing on this is really bad. I'm not sure how well, yeah, you can even see it on the camera, like on the left page there versus the right page. Like these look like two different colors on this 6x6 plate. It looks like it's almost light tan with dark tan bricks, whereas on the right side it is light gray with dark gray bricks. There's some serious issues with the printing. That's a little better. So I mean, if you've seen The Mandalorian, that bad color printing has come back. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be from the episode where there's like a battle in a city that they're in. And so this is kind of like some of the wreckage and ruins of the city that they're using as cover as they're fighting. I guess it kind of seems like it was working for that. I'm going to go ahead and put up our giveaway link since we're going to be done with this pretty quickly, I think. Lots of cheese slips. No. Okay, that was it. I didn't even realize it. So you do get quite a few extra like visors. These are from some of the clone troopers. I guess if you wanted to, you could probably pop these on here. They do fit on the helmets. It can go up. You get four visors and 4 rangefinders, and they only have you use 2 of the rangefinders. You also get a bunch of extra trans red 1x1 round plates for the stud shooter ammo. So, a nice number of extra parts, I guess. And yeah, so here is our little piece of cover. Kind of a waste of parts. I'd rather not have this than have it, I think. You know, I wouldn't expect, like, you know, the way Lego sets work, it's not like you could say, oh, don't include this and give us a 5th minifigure. That's not how like the design and costing process works, I'm sure. but I would have said, like, give us a better speeder bike, or a second speeder bike or something instead of this. It does have a little jumper plate there and a clip, so I guess in theory you could take one of the Mandalorians and kind of in place their blaster, and then the clip you can use to hold the blaster on for the one on the speeder bike, so he or she, they can put both hands on the handlebars, maybe. So yeah, there you go. It's hiding out, blasting, blasting, blasting. You can attach the other one on the back, and then this guy has got his cape flowing out. And you can have both hands on the handlebars. So yeah, see if I can remember for tomorrow to find the older speeder bike from the Clone Wars Battle Pack, so we can compare that. But I don't know. This is 102 pieces for $15. You're essentially spending $15 for these 4 Mandalorian minifigs, you know, which comes out to a bit under $4 each. I guess with tax, probably closer to $4 each. Which I'm sure if you look on like Bricklink or Brick Owl or the secondary market in general, you're gonna spend or pay more than $4 for each of these minifigs. So it's not that bad of a deal. You know, I love the show, I love Star Wars, so I don't think it was that big of an issue here. But definitely really disappointed in the scenery, and the speeder bike's alright. I don't think it was a bad you know, bad purchase. I'm not regretting spending my $15 on this, but that's just because I love Star Wars, and I think the Mandalorians are cool. Otherwise, you can definitely pass on this. I mean, none of these characters have any names yet that we've seen. It's, you know, there was in the series the Armorer, and then I think there's one other Mandalorian who has some sort of name or title, but that's none of these guys. So these aren't even named characters. This is literally just an excuse for LEGO to put out 4 Mandalorians and charge people $15 for them. Hey, it worked. They got my money, and I'm sure a lot of other people's. So good for them, I guess. Alright. So turn off our giveaway link and pick our next winner. Brickus, congratulations. You have won a K2SO buildable figure. So yeah, we'll be getting in touch, get you that prize. Oh, I should have done that before. One sec, guys. All right. So getting ready to move on to our last build for today, which we'll not be finishing today. We've been going for what, almost 2.5 hours. Oh, that didn't work. One sec to fix that. Still a few things about Streamlabs OBS that I'm not as much of a fan of compared to the old Elgato software I used to use. There we go. Now it's a little better formatted. So yeah, so let's get these Mandalorians out of the way. Let's move our camera back a little bit. And we're gonna start building this set today. 75292, the Razor Crest. The biggest set based on the Mandalorian we've gotten so far. It is bigger than the Child sculpture set that will be coming out. Yeah, it is the Mandalorian ship. It's a pretty awesome ship in the show. I'm hoping that the set lives up to it. It is pretty expensive at $130, only containing 1,023 parts. So from a price per part ratio, you're looking maybe not as ideal as some people would like it to be. It does look pretty symmetric, so from a building experience perspective, there might be some repetition there. But as far as that like expensive cost goes, I'm already seeing this windshield piece here that it looks like it's printed. That's going to drive the cost up. The Child, which is exclusive to this set, is going to be I guess the head is exclusive. The baby itself, the baby body, we've seen before, but this is going to be an exclusive color combination. You get the Mandalorian, who looks like he's the same as in the ATST Raider. Grief Karga, exclusive to this set. IG-11, pretty similar to IG-88, who we've gotten just a couple years ago in the Bounty Hunter Battle Pack. And a Scout Trooper, doesn't look like there's anything too fancy there. I don't know how he compares to previous iterations of the Scout Trooper. Flipping the box around, we do see that the set opens up a good bit to access some of the interior features. We'll have to see how much detail is in there. It looks like there's some, but like not a huge amount. Like if it was to really capture, the ship we see on the show, this set would have to be like at least twice as big, and it's already a $130 set, so it kind of makes sense. We do have, it looks like, some hidden spring-loaded launchers. There is an ammo rack hiding in there somewhere, so that's kind of cool. We've got an opening cockpit with, it looks like, a place to store some weapons in the back, access to an area in the top, and a little bunk, excuse me, for the Mandalorian to take a nap in. And we do get, looks like, at least 2 bounties frozen in carbonite, which we see in the beginning. And apparently, there is a secret code to unlock this ship in Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, whenever that comes out. So yeah, like I mentioned, we're not going to be finishing this set today. Probably not even going to get quite halfway through it. Maybe build for like an hour or so. Maybe a little less, just so tomorrow the stream isn't going to be dragging on for too long. So yeah, so right off the bat you can see that cockpit piece. I don't think this is a new mold. I'm pretty sure you've seen this mold before, but obviously the printing is going to be exclusive. And yeah, as far as Star Wars sets are concerned, I guess the price per part ratio might not be all that bad, because they do tend to be a little pricier. So it looks like we have bags that are numbered 1 through 6, and a couple of them have 2 bags per number. So we've got one number 1, 2 2s, 1 3, 2 4s, 1 5, and 2 6s. So the even number bag, even numbers have 2 bags. Odd numbers have 1. So I'm gonna say we'll probably get through bags 1 and 2 today, and then call it a day. We also have got our instructions in a nice plastic bag, keep them from getting too messed up, as well as the stickers in there. So there are the stickers. Actually, not too many. They do look like they're mostly going to be a pain. Like these guys, these are each 1 sticker. They're probably going to go on like those big rounded panels on the engine, so those are going to be a bit of a pain to apply. These guys look like they go on some of the, what are they, like the 3x8 curve slopes or something like that. So we got 4 of those. The carbonite blocks, those definitely make sense to be stickers. Some little details on control panels. I think all the stickers make sense. I'm just not looking forward to those two. Those are always kind of tricky to apply. All right. Apparently this set has you can get the instructions on the app if you scan the QR code in here, which I guess is cool. All right, let's open things up and start building. First bag here, we've got 2 minifigs, the Mandalorian and the Scout Trooper. It's kind of interesting having the Scout Trooper and IG-11 in this set. Kind of implies a story element from the end of the show that you're supposed to be kind of recreating here. Which was definitely a good part. I mean, it was all good, but the end was pretty awesome. Oh, yeah, a brick separator. Can never have enough of those. Otherwise, what else are you going to put in your Brick Fair coffee cups? A lot of big plates I'm seeing here. Alright, I think that is all of the parts for minifigs. So we'll start with the Scout Trooper, who actually has a face. I think this is a somewhat updated face from the last time I built a Stormtrooper minifig. I think his eyebrows make him look a little bit angrier. He's got some printing on the back there. And then he gets a blaster pistol and his helmet. Helmet does a good job of capturing the Scout Trooper look. And he's ready to try to steal the child. Alright, we've got to open up our little fabric thing. I assume the cape is in here. Alright, so let's get out our other Mandalorian. The Mandalorian. The weapon is the same, and the torso is also identical. Should probably turn back on our picture down here. So you can see identical torso, and yeah, the legs are the same. So this is the same minifig as in the cheaper AT-ST Raider. So if all you really care about is getting the Mandalorian, you just have to get the cheaper set. But obviously I'm sure everyone also wants to get the Baby Yoda fig as well. But you might be better off at that point just going on the secondary market if that's all you really want. So yeah, identical between the two sets, which is disappointing. You know, I was kind of hinting at, you know, part of the story that having the Scout Trooper an IG-11 in this set kind of implies, and by that point the Mandalorian had upgraded his armor, I'd say a pretty good bit from the beginning of the show, and so it would have been really cool if that had been captured in the fig. See, a bit of a missed opportunity there. And you know, like, it's not like that would be the first time LEGO has put out a slightly different version of a figure in a more expensive set. And whether or not they said it outright, but you know, put a slightly different version of a figure out in an effort to get more money. Like, at the end of the day, LEGO is still a company trying to be profitable. And it's like, I guess I'm gonna look at this cynically. You know, they knew that they were putting in the child and Grief Karga in this set, and that would have been enough of a draw for some people, at least. For the people who buy sets for minifigs, having the child and Grief Karga in the set would be enough to get them to buy this set. They didn't need to redesign the Mandalorian to get people to buy it. They already had us hooked. Again, that's a kind of a cynical way of looking at it, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily untrue. I don't know for sure. That's just, you know, my rumor or my thought. Adding a bunch of these clips to the side that I would assume some of the side panels are going to attach to. Oh, we have a bit of asymmetry coming in already. It's nice to see. Anything to break up, just doing everything twice is always appreciated in my book. So it looks like this area here is going to be where the bodies in carbonite, the bounties, I guess, in carbonite are going to be stored. So you can see here, using this snot brick with studs on both sides and some tiles, we've kind of made a space that one brick can fit in and have like a little bit of wiggle room. So if that's like one of the carbonite slabs, it will fit in there pretty well. definitely a lot of clips being used all along the side here. So it really seems like that's going to be how the sides are attached, so they can fold down. And having so many of them, I guess it's going to give it like a good amount of friction, so they can stay in place and not be too wobbly. Alright, looks like we're done, just about done with bag one here. Yep. Oh, bag two. Get to build Baby Yoda. Alright, before we do that, let's check out bag one. Not a whole lot to show off. You can see all those clips I mentioned. We got, what, 2, 4, 6 at one level here. And then a couple that are set one stud back, along with 2 click hinge pieces for further up. And on the back, I've got a couple of click hinges, probably for like the ramp. We do have some Technic pins here, and some more Technic pins, and some Technic attachment points on the front. So definitely a lot of places to build off of. And like I said, I believe this is probably gonna be where the carbonite slabs go, but not a lot of other interior details so far. So let's go ahead, open up our second set of bags. See where they lead us. Alright, so of course, the moment we've all been waiting for. The adorable child, or Baby Yoda. The head is actually rubbery, so you can see those ears can move a little bit. And the body is the normal minifig baby body that was introduced a few years ago, but in dark tan, a little bit of printing on the chest, and of course the sand green hands. So yeah, because what he's built, the Mandalorian can hold him, I guess, if you want. I don't think this set includes his little, like, futuristic stroller thing, which is a bit unfortunate. but still a very adorable little figure there. Alright, just taking out some of the larger pieces here. So I can find the ones I need when I need them. Let's get our picture back. Looks like I think we're starting off here with what's supposed to be the bed. Possibly. Guess we'll have to wait and see for sure. So we've got some of our first stickers to add in some of the details. Huh, I just noticed the sticker sheet was nice and flat in the bag, and after taking it out, just having it out for like 10-15 minutes or so, the sticker sheet has curled significantly. Wonder if that is like too much humidity or a lack of humidity. It has been pretty humid here lately, but I've actually had the AC running a little bit just to keep that humidity down because I can't stand it. Alright, so there's one sticker. Looks like some sort of controls or stuff for the ship, and they're going to be going here next to what I think is the bed. And then the other one. Sticker here. Put that there, and yes, you can see like the bed, and then the stickers in the back there with like the control panels and stuff. Maybe like some storage or something, food, rations, something along those lines. Hey, we're getting to some details though. So we're pushing that off to the side for a sec to start working on, looks like it's going to be the cockpit, at least the interior of the cockpit. You can see a couple of seats. So I don't really think there's a passenger compartment so much in the Razor Crest. More just like the cargo hold for people he's put on carbonite. Lots of Technic pins in this bag, so lots of structural stuff hopefully coming together here. don't recall the seats in the Razor Crest being red, but I guess it's not too big of a deal for that to be a little inaccuracy. Yeah, adding a splash of color isn't necessarily a bad thing, you know, like I said, for kids. Even if it's just like to make it easier to build, sometimes it is a nice addition. Alright, this goes on top of here. Attached on all the studs. Those fold down. You can see these Technic beams fold down, and if we put like another Technic beam or something across, that'll definitely make it nice and strong. I'm assuming these clips are going to be used to like attach the canopy or the roof or something, so that you'll be able to remove it. You know, the shape is starting to come along here for sure. We're actually going to use these guys to hold those beams together. Kind of makes it nice and low profile. Still sticks out like a little bit, but not as much as if it was just a full Technic beam. We actually get a 1x2 cheese slope with a printed control panel. I'm guessing that that print is not exclusive to the set. Probably we've seen a bit before. I would prefer, I think, like a generic printed control panel that you see in several sets to a sticker. Especially since, you know, usually in the final model, the control panel isn't even like all that visible. You know, it's just something like you notice in the cockpit, so I'd rather just use like the same printed part and add another sticker to it. Alright, really starting to get some structure here. Locking that in with some more of these big Technic beams. Make it nice and solid. thing is definitely coming along. Alright, so we've got this big structure here. You kind of can see the shape of the ship coming together, but now apparently we're going to make the entire like tail section that comes out of the back. So we're putting that off to the side and starting on like a whole new assembly here that will eventually get mated to that other part we've been building. So looking at the time, I think this is definitely going to be the last bag we do today. And so then tomorrow, we'll build bags 3 and 4. Then probably take a break and build the brickhead set that we've got. Mandalorian and the child. And come back to do 5 and 6 and wrap things up. And then looking towards the future, we're probably not going to be streaming next week, and that is because the week after, I think it's like technically the second weekend in November. Sorry, just pulling up my calendar real quick. I guess next weekend is the 31st and the 1st. So the first full weekend in November, I'm going to be a crazy person, but in a good way, I think. And so we'll hopefully be announcing this on BZPower later today or tomorrow. But something I've always wanted to participate in, but I've never had the opportunity to, usually because of timing, just other stuff going on. And obviously this year, there's not that much other stuff going on, so I don't really have any excuse to not do it, but I am intending on participating in the Extra Life 24-hour gaming marathon for charity. So we'll be putting together like a BZPower team, I assume, if anyone else wants to join in, raising money for sick kids who need all the help they can get. And I will be playing Lego video games for 24 hours straight, and to help raise some money for that. And we're going to have some incentives and stuff for people to help convince you to donate if you're on the fence. Still ironing out some of the details, but if you donate a certain amount, you'll be entered into a raffle for getting some free Lego sets. So donate for a good cause, have a chance to get some free Lego. I think that seems like a pretty good deal. And then if you donate a little more, you'll be able to pick what game we play for an hour. So we'll have a list of various Lego titles we have available, and you'll be able to choose what I play for an hour. And yeah, so maybe do a couple tiers of giveaways too. Just have some basic sets at one level, maybe some more exclusive things at a slightly higher level to really kind of build up some interest in it. So look to BZPower and our social media channels to see some more info on that coming up. I'm excited for it. Also dreading playing video games for 24 hours. Well, I guess playing video games isn't bad, but streaming playing video games for 24 hours straight seems like it could be a bit daunting. I'm not sure that I'm up for it, but there's only one way to find out, and it is for a great cause. So I'm willing to persevere and put myself through that to hopefully raise some money for people who need it. This year has definitely been a year with a lot of people in need, more so, or at least more visibly than we've seen in the past, and just hoping I can help out with that in some way. And hopefully you guys think that's a good idea and are interested in helping out, and we can, you know, do some good work. Meanwhile, our tail section's coming together pretty nicely here. Looks like, in fact, that we are just about done with bag number 2 here. So in a sec, after I attach these beams, I'll go ahead and put up our giveaway link for today. That'll be our last giveaway for the day. Just a reminder, we will be building again tomorrow, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, same place. We'll be finishing up the Razor Crest here, and also building the Brickheads set you see in the back there, the Mandalorian and the Child. Alright, now I get to attach these. Try to adjust that a little bit. And so you've got these Technic pin bushing combos that are commonly used for this sort of thing. Kind of slide them in. Do the back ones here first. There's 2, and that lets us still be able to flex this thing around a little bit to line everything up. And there we go. And yeah, it's quite solid, very sturdy with all that Technic. parts left to cover up some of the details on the back here. And that will be, I think, all she wrote for today. Yep, that is going to be it for bag 2. So just a little over 3 hours. Pretty good time. Let's use our sticker sheet here as a bookmark so we know where we left off. Go back to our main view so we can take a look at our Razor Crest in progress. Still very skeletal. We do have some details in the cockpit here, a couple seats and a control panel. There are some like clips and click hinges in various parts. I have noticed I've got some jumpers here and a jumper here. Not sure like how those are going to be used, possibly for attaching something, maybe getting a center line, maybe for some accessories or something like that, like hidden compartments. So we'll have to see how that goes. You know, the heavy Technic construction here means you can hold it by like the tail section, and it's not going anywhere. So you can see all the clips along the sides here for the side panels, and in the front, got some click hinges for the ramp. Yeah, so it looks like it's coming together. I guess this feels like it's about a third of the way done. I mean, this feels like it is like the core structure of the ship. Obviously, we do still have the engine pods that are gonna take up a lot of parts, but I feel like a lot of the rest of the body is just gonna be kind of detailing with you know, panels and slopes and stuff. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes tomorrow. So just a quick rewind through what else we've done today. So in addition to a third of the Razor Crest, we built this ATST Raider, which, as I said, you know, if you missed the Rogue One, or sorry, ATST Raider, I think I said AT-AT. If you missed the Rogue One ATST, then this might not be a bad set to pick up. And that includes a couple of Clattonian Raiders, in addition to the Mandalorian and Cara Dune. You know, I don't think it's very accurate to the show, maybe not capturing everything it could have from the show. You know, it's missing the glowing red eyes. I don't think we ever even see the ATST this clearly in the show. There's another character from that episode that you know, the woman who the Mandalorian kind of develops a relationship with, that would have been a great addition to the set that we didn't get, and unfortunately means we probably never will. So from like a show perspective, not necessarily the best set. From a minifig perspective, it's currently the only place to get Cara, and it is the cheapest set to get the Mandalorian, the other one being the Razor Crest, which as you can see is $130, and this set's only $50, so that's not bad. But it does feel like this set was kind of on the expensive side for what you get, considering it is essentially the same set as the Rogue One ATST, just with some different colors and modifications here and there. Kind of hard to recommend unless you really want the minifigures and don't want to buy them on the aftermarket. Excuse me. The other set we built was the Mandalorian Battle Pack, which includes 4 Mandalorian figures. So there are 2 of them. It includes a little speeder bike, on the 3rd Mandalorian figure there, and then this stupid piece of rubble scenery that I put the 4th figure in. For $15, you get the 4 unique Mandalorians. It's really just there if you're a Star Wars fan and want those minifigs. They're not even important characters. You know, you can skip it if you want. The speeder bike and the scenery are not very desirable. They don't offer a lot. They don't bring a lot to the table in the set. So that's really just $15 plus tax for those 4 minifigs. So that's kind of your call if you think the minifigs are cool enough to be worth it. All right, so let us go ahead and see who our last winner is going to be for today. Close off our entries for now. We'll reopen that tomorrow. And again, if you entered today and didn't win, you will be eligible to win tomorrow, and you will not have to re-enter. Alright, let's see who our final winner for today is. Box Commander, congrats! You won an Imperial Death Trooper buildable figure. So we will be contacting you and getting you that set. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap things up for today. As always, thanks so much guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the stream so far. You know, again, we will be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, to finish the Razor Crest and to build the Mandalorian and the Child Brickhead set. And then in 2 weeks, November 7th to the 8th, we're going to be doing a 24-hour charity live stream playing LEGO video games for Extra Life. So you can expect to see more information on that coming out soon, and hopefully you guys will be able to contribute, and we'd love to see you guys help us raise some money for a great cause. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap things up for today. Thanks again so much for watching. Definitely appreciate it, and hope everyone has a great rest of your day, rest of your weekend, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks again, guys. Take care.